Today we are looking at two theorems of triangles. The first theorem we've already talked about in class is called the triangle angle sum theorem. It's where all three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So we can set up a little equation with this and just add together your 65 plus 30 plus x, set it equal to 180 degrees. And of course you can use your calculator on this. And you'll just add together your like terms, subtract over your 95 from 180, and x equals 85. Then you would want to see if there's an equation up here to solve, and there's not, so it's just 85 degrees. That's how you solve the triangle angle sum theorem. You don't even have to show work for this type of problem. They will get a little bit more complicated with more variables, and those you might need work for, but I'm not going to necessarily have you show work on that type. The second theorem we're learning today is called the exterior angle theorem, and it's where you add together the two inside angles and you set it equal to the exterior angle formed by a straight line. So for this one, we'd take 60 plus x and set it equal to 2x plus 4. And now we're just solving from here. So again, I like to keep my x's positive, so I'm going to subtract over my 1x and subtract over my 4. So in this case, I'm going to get x equals 56. And then I check, do I need to plug it back in? Well, it depends on what the problem asks. If the problem just asks you to solve for the missing variable, then you're good to go here. If the problem asks you to plug it back in, well, here, this angle is just going to equal 56 degrees. And then here we're going to get 112 plus 4 is 116 degrees. So it depends what the problem's asking. All right, let's look at a couple of these. Number one, this is the interior angle, or the triangle sum theorem. So for number one, we're going to add 65 plus 57 plus x equals 180. I don't care if you use a different variable or if you put a question mark. Again, for these, you don't even need to show work for me. Add together your 65 plus 57, and then you subtract over your 122, and x equals positive 58 degrees. Now this one says solve for the missing angles, and when we plug it back in, there's nothing to solve there, so the angle is 58 degrees. All right, number two, same idea except for the little box here indicates we have a 90 degree. This is a right triangle. So we'll take 40 plus 90 plus x, set it equal to 180, and go ahead and solve. We get 40 plus 90 is 130. Subtract over your 130 and x equals 50. Plug it back in, and that's just 50 degrees. Again, at the end, if you want to add these three together, they have to add up to 180. Every triangle. All right, number three, still talking about the angle sum theorem. So you're going to take your 8x plus 2 plus 70 plus 60, set it equal to 180, and go ahead and solve. You'll get x equals 6. Just make sure for this one you plug it back in. 6 times 8, 48 plus 2 is 50 degrees for your top angle there. All right, number 4. I'm just going to set up number 4 and 5 for you, and then I'll let, well, actually, number 4 is a little interesting now that I think about it. So this one, again, we're trying to find the missing angles. We want angle A, and then this angle over here. So you're going to set x plus 37 plus x plus 67 plus 90 all equal to 180. So then you're going to add your like terms. So now we get 2x, and then we have 37 plus 67 plus 90. That's going to give us 194 equals 180. Subtract over your 194, and you're going to get a negative 14. Divide by 2, x equals negative 7. Is that possible? Yes, because when I plug in my negative 7, I still get a positive angle. So negative 7 plus 67 is just 60, and this one will be 30. You can have a negative variable, but you cannot have a negative angle. Number 5 is called an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle has two sides that are congruent and two base angles that are the same. So this one's also going to be x plus 10 degrees. Then you'll set up the equation, x plus 10 plus x plus 10 plus 3x equals 180. Problems 1 through 5 are all this first theorem here. They look a little different, but they're all that triangle angle sum theorem. So go ahead, add your like terms. So we get 5x plus 20 equals 180. Subtract over your 20, we get 5x equals 160. Divide by 5, and x equals 32. Go ahead and plug it in. And these are both the same. They're both 42 degrees. Oh, we still have to plug it in for the top. So when we plug in 32 times 3, we get 96 degrees. Now let's check. Does that add up to 180? 96 plus 42 plus 42. Yes, it does. All right, moving on, we're going to look at this exterior angle theorem. So go ahead and look at number 6. The exterior angle theorem states to get this outside angle, you just add the two interior angles and set it equal to the outside angle. So we have 64 plus 27 equals 97 plus x. Add the 2 on the inside, set it equal to the outside angle. 91 equals 97 plus x. And when we subtract that over, we get x equals negative 6. Again, this might work. Let's check it. If I plug it in, do I get a positive angle here? Yes, that's going to be 91 degrees. Do not stop at this step. The directions said solve for missing angles, not just solve for the missing variable. So technically that would be our answer for number 6. Okay, I'm going to skip around here. Again, I'll put up the answer key for all of these, but looking at number 7, this one looks a little different. We have a bow tie looking shape here with two triangles. This is going to tell us that these two angles that share the same vertex are called vertical angles. So they're going to be the same. So I can find this top angle by adding 20 plus 40 and subtracting from 180. All three angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So this top one is going to be 120 degrees, and then so is this top one here. So both are 120 degrees, which I can easily find my third angle here. If I have 39, then this is going to have to be 21 degrees because all three angles add up to 180. So you're using the theorem twice. I did 20 plus 40 is 60. 180 minus 60 is 120. This one's 120. Then I did 120 plus 39. That's 159. 180 minus 159 gives me 21. That's your final answer. Number 8, the only thing you need to recognize here is that these two lines mean that we have an isosceles triangle. So for an isosceles triangle, two sides are congruent, and then the two base angles so it's really turned. If you look at it this way, it's a little bit easier. If the two sides are congruent, the two angles at the bottom are congruent. So then we have this is 54 degrees as well. Add up your two angles, subtract from 180, so x equals 72 degrees. Number 9, we're going to add the two interior angles, so 30 plus 42, plus 4x plus 2 equals 8 plus 6x. Add your like terms. And combine your like terms. So this one we're going to get positive 2x equals 24. And then divide by 2 and get x equals 12. Don't forget to plug it back in and get your angles.